When you hear a show tune from the great white way, does a shiver run through ya? Well, we're giving them to ya. Sing hallelujah and shout hooray. Come on along and listen to Broadway to Main Street. USA.
Well, we are not gathered by the crystal sea. We are gathered by the radio crystal today. Hello. This is your host, Larry Maslon, for Broadway to Main Street here on WLIW FM, Long Island's only signature, individual, one-of-a-kind NPR station. And that astonishingly magisterial music is from Adam Guettel's Myths and Hymns, which we will be spending an extraordinary 54 minutes with today because our guest is none other than Ted Sperling, the artistic director and conductor of MasterVoices, who is doing this extraordinary virtual, I don't know, he'll talk about a series of concerts around this piece, and he's certainly the, I would say, premier interpreter of Adam Guettel from way back, and we'll talk all about that. So welcome, Ted. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Larry. So good to be with you.
So this event, which we'll talk about in sections, is almost, what would you say, Saturn returns. This is your chance to get back in touch with Adam's work that you started with, as far back as the late 20th century, right?
Right. Yeah, we worked on this over the course of several years in the late 90s.
And seemingly you've come full circle because MasterVoices is going to produce the second part of Myths and Hymns, and it'll be released on February 24th at 6:30 p.m. And Myths and Hymns, if I'm correct, is based on some Greek myths that Adam discovered, as well as an Episcopalian hymnal, which inspired him to do these short pieces. And I believe you started this work with Adam and director Tina Landau at the Berkshires in the 1990s.
Looking to Tina for some direction about how to make a show out of this. So together with Adam and Tina, we assembled this cast that included Audra McDonald, Billy Porter, and Lilias White.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, with pianist John Nauman. Adam also sang in it. And we did a little presentation of it there in the Berkshires and tried to figure it out. And that's still a very vivid and fond memory for me.
And then it made its New York debut, I guess, at Joe's Pub, right, in 98, which was subsequently recorded, which we'll listen to today, but much admired by an entire devout fan base of Adam's, I would guess.
We actually did it in one of the theaters, I think the Martinson Theater upstairs at the Public. And it was a hybrid concert staging. So no costumes per se, just beautiful clothing and the band on stage and some projections and some minimal staging. But it was a little bit more than just a Joe's Pub kind of performance.
Well, it certainly lives on. Here is from the None Such recording, which is really stunning recording and holds up so well. Here is the composer, lyricist himself singing Saturn Returns, and then we're going to segue into your project.
I tasted something sweet. It's an echo, it's a memory in retreat. Like a feeling of fullness, like the knowing of quiet fortitude of ancient heroes. It was something I trusted somehow, but now it's gone and I am incomplete. In the darkness and the hollow, in the heat. If I flash on the future, I see only the empty future shock. An after image, there is only I want, I want, I want. I don't know what I hunger for. I don't know why I feel the hunger more and more with every passing day. I don't know from where the hunger springs, but that is there and that it sings us someplace far away. So get me up and get me out and let me never return to the darkness and the hollow and to the burn. I want out of this hunger. Take me up to a higher altitude. Take me all the way. I'm out of here. I am going there. I am Get me up like Icarus and give me wings like Pegasus. Just get me out and get me high. Icarus was not an achiever. Always resented what his father could do. Was sick and tired of the hullabaloo. When would he ever make his mark? Icarus was not a believer. His father trusted him and took it for granted.
So tell us about how your version of Myths and Hymns rolls out as part of your MasterVoices repertoire.
I've been thinking about Myths and Hymns for quite a while, actually, as a project for MasterVoices, trying to figure out how we could perform it in concert. And the other thing that I thought of for the online production was that we could invite artists from all over that wouldn't necessarily have access to in a live performance situation, and that we could expand our family of collaborators to include visual artists. and that we've done, and I've been really happy with the result.
Well, we'll talk more about this. You've already done your first part, and boy, did you accumulate a repertoire of fantastic artists. Talk about oohs and ahs. Anybody who can go to your YouTube channel can see part one, which is Flight, chapter one, which is Flight. And let's hear a little bit of this as a lagniappe, talking about collaborators. We've got Julia Bullock, Renee Fleming, and Kelli O'Hara to sing. Is it Migratory V or Migratory 5?
It's Migratory V, as you'll hear in the song.
Great. Here we go. Now, one of the things that you did in chapter one, Flight, which I totally recommend people checking out on YouTube, is you have some members of the quote unquote original cast who've come back. And in Pegasus, you have something old and something new and some borrowed. And Tell us who's on that particular track from the YouTube MasterVoices recording.
We decided to introduce the song with a spoken introduction by Annie Golden, who sang the role of Pegasus in the public theater production, combined with drawings by a wonderful children's book illustrator named Stephen Kellogg, who's an old friend of Adam's, because the song takes place after the myth is over. And we thought it was important for the audience to understand what the story was before they heard the song. So we see it in illustrations and we hear it in Annie's voice, her inimitable voice. And then Jose Lana, who was in Saturn Returns but never sang this song, was apparently always wanting to sing this one. So when I called him about doing it, he leapt at the chance.
Great.
And then I got the incredible Capathia Jenkins and Elizabeth Stanley to join us. And for them, it was the first time.
Well, this song certainly, as it were, takes flight, as many of the songs do in Myths and Hymns. So let us hear Pegasus from the MasterVoices YouTube recording of this concert.
In case you haven't heard about it, as it happened quite a while ago, there once was a winged horse called Pegasus, whose rider, Bellerophon, was attempting to fly too high, as mortals are wont to do. So he decided to steer Pegasus to the home of the gods, where no mortals are allowed. To keep the young man in his place, the gods sent along a fly, a gadfly, who bit the horse, who bucked the rider, who fell from his place in the sky. Bellerophon had a lot of time to think on his way down.
Pegasus, it's all I wanted, you know. Heaven like it got, heaven like it got. Pegasus, I meant to glow like you glow. Up in heaven too, heaven like it got. In the wind, your flying mane. In my hand, your golden rain. Higher, higher, and never too high, and never enough. You know me 'cause I was your rider. Pegasus,
yes,
is it as good as I said?
What?
Living in the sky, living in the sky.
Wow.
Pegasus, there was a dance on your head.
What dance?
Heaven like you got,
a
living in the sky. After rising from the flood,
pretty.
After drinking from the flood. Higher, higher, and never too high, and never enough. Tell them how you threw your rider.
You keep throwing it up
way up
to me. How I'm up
way up
here and you're down
way down
there. As though I did this.
You did this to you, to me.
A gadfly doesn't much deal in regret. For a gadfly there is no remorse. A gadfly doesn't much question her God when her God says, "Go bite that flying horse." She bites, that's it, I bit. Now I hear,
I think
this one
you must have pinched.
I pinched?
My flat somehow pinched.
I pinched.
They each make claims
I flinched.
You bucked.
counter
Flinched.
claims. They seize upon the incident, look for implications, when it was only Zeus again venting his frustrations.
I didn't throw you.
You threw me. You lied. Pegasus,
That's my name.
we broke into.
Broke into. All because of
All because of you. All because of you.
A fusing.
Pegasus, just say it's true. Say it's true. I say it was
I
you.
say it was you.
I say it was you. You and I, we still could go.
We'll never go.
Say it, say it, say it, we'll be so higher, higher, and never too high, and never enough. Olympians, please make this part be gone. Almost winged Pegasus, and downward bound Bellerophon. Go on.
That's it. I bit.
And that was Pegasus from Myths and Hymns. And I'm very, very pleased today to be sharing my virtual space with Ted Sperling, the artistic director and conductor of MasterVoices, who just did that miraculous version of a song by Adam Guettel. And you wanted to add something to that, Ted.
Well, you'll see if you watch our video, there's a very little glimpse of the composer at the very beginning playing the guitar. That's Adam playing guitar throughout the song. He has an unusual style of playing the guitar. Most guitarists grow their fingernails a little long in the right hand, and Adam does the opposite. And that way he can hit the instrument with his thumb and make the sound of the horse's hoofs.
Wow. Amazing. A polymath, that Adam Guettel. Well, this is Larry Maslon for Broadway to Main Street, and we are looking at this extraordinary score. Maybe since you talked a little bit about Adam, and before we moved on to chapter 2, which is work, I mean, you've worked with everybody. Speaking of work, you've worked with everybody, Ted. I mean, certainly that generation, Ricky Ian Gordon and Michael John LaChiusa and Adam Guettel and Jason Robert Brown. They're a whole generation that is, I guess now they're not quite elder statesmen, but they certainly they're not just up and comers anymore. How would you position Adam in terms of a songwriter for the theater of his generation?
Well, everybody you mentioned, are heroes for me, and I'm very proud to have been associated with their work. I made a deliberate attempt to be part of their circle, and so happy that it worked. Adam is, as you can tell from his music is complex, and it's deep, and his lyric writing is similarly complex and deep. And it's not to say all these other writers aren't also complex and deep, but I feel that Adam spends a lot of time writing. He'll confess that he is not the fastest, but it's because he wants to burrow so deep.
Of course, Musicals 101 fans know that his grandfather was Richard Rodgers and his mother was Mary Rodgers. But he's like a baton runner for me. He takes the baton of a previous generation and sort of passes it along to the next one. And everything he does is, like, as you say, so intricate. When you juxtapose them in different ways, they reveal different things than perhaps were originally intended.
And I think you hear influences from the music that Adam grew up listening to outside of the music theater in his work. People have mentioned Stevie Wonder, Caetano Veloso, R&B influences. There's a lot in here, and
you hear a little Earth, Wind, and Fire here.
Absolutely, Earth, Wind, and Fire was huge for Adam, I believe, and even Take 6. So that's one of the really fun things about this score is it doesn't have to live in a particular place and time, like Floyd Collins, for example.
Right.
So in Floyd, Adam really explores what it can mean to use instruments like the banjo and the harmonica and the fiddle. In this piece, he can go in many, many different directions at once.
Great. Well, let us go to chapter 2, which is work. And here's a work, Ted, that you did earlier with Audra McDonald, a song called Build a Bridge.
Yes, I need you, and I love you, but oh, the water's wide. Oh yes, I am trying to get there, to battle the tide. I'm trying to get there, to battle the water. Build a bridge, come to the shore, build a bridge. This I've heard, how I have heard so many times, for so many years, not mine. Yes, I need you, and I love you. Oh, the water's wide. Oh, yes, I am trying to get there, to battle the tide. Oh, yes, I know.
Roll
Stupid,
this
stupid,
rock
stupid,
up.
stupid.
There's a point, yes, the point will unfold. I'll
Drop it,
not
drop it, stop it,
no,
skip it.
not when there's a rock to be rolled. My
Goodness
rock,
gracious,
my
goodness
rock,
gracious.
nearly up to the top of the peak.
What a
Rock,
rotten shame, and it's always the same. Rock rolls back, and it'll flatten him flat.
few little bugs to work out.
God, I've had it with that. Hell is not what he imagines it is. It is watching while he's going through his.
Up,
Free us, spare us.
if I fail, then I try again. More
Failure,
up,
failure still is the failure, the thrill. Can't you see it's a curse? Rolling rocks forever, never nearly being dead.
how could this be a curse? The rock supply is endless, and there's many a millennium.
Many a millennium,
Many a millennium ahead. Race you to the rock pile, giddy up, tally-ho, forward.
we have to, can't we go?
Not allowed. You know what Zeus said?
Zeus again, Zeus again.
I want Sisyphus to draw a nice crowd. Race you to the rock pile.
Giddy up, tally ho, forward.
There's a point here, there's a point to be found. I picked a different
Stupid,
shape.
stupid, stupid. Rock rolls back,
Oops,
and it'll flatten him flat.
oops. Few little bugs to work.
Don't you even begin to say that. Transfer, please, to anywhere else in this joint.
But I need you guys beside me to advise me and to guide me while I miss the whole point.
That is Sisyphus from Myths and Hymns. As far as I know, the only joint appearance of Mandy Patinkin and Christian Chenoweth. So Ted Sperling, who's the artistic director of MasterVoices, masterminded the original album, which is where this is from. So you said it was kind of a fascinating backstage ensemble.
Yes, and I don't really remember how that came to be. Robert Hurwitz, who ran on such records and is such a master at figuring out how to make albums, had a big influence on that particular disc. So the song order was actually changed for the album Myths and Hymns. And for our online production, we're restoring the original order and including the songs that didn't make it onto the album. And we assembled this all-star cast to be our ensemble for the Non-Such album, which included Kristen Chenoweth, as you mentioned, but also Billy Porter and Jessica Molaski and Louis Cleal. It was quite a group.
Wow. Well, we have one more song
Oh,
that you're
Brian
going to...
Darcy James. I forgot
Wow.
Brian.
Wow. Who you worked with is in Titanic too, right?
And in Flood Collins, yeah.
Wow. Well, let's talk about another frequent Ted Sperling collaborator, and that's Vicki Clark. I think we first had you on the show to promote the MasterVoices production of Lady in the Dark that Vicki starred in. And this is as good a moment as any to recognize the Ira and Leonore Gershwin Philanthropic Trust, which helps support Broadway to Main Street, and I know helps support MasterVoices. So
That's
we'll
right.
give those nice folks a shout out.
Absolutely.
Here is from Vicki's album, 15 Seconds of Grace. And are you at the piano on this, Ted?
I am. I also did the arrangement.
Beautiful.
They say that life is but a dream, drifting on a stream, but I've begun to wonder, is it really like the song we just gently roll along? It's not enough, there must be more upon a distant shore, adventure and the thunder of life. Open up your arms to me, and I will find my way. In my heart a riddle lives, and by the amber light it gives, I will ask until I know who I am inside the outside that I show. From where I sit, it doesn't seem that life is but a dream. It seems like there's a world out there. Open up your arms to me. Open up your arms, and you will set me
That was Vicki Clark. And now we're moving to the potential Chapter 3 Love of the MasterVoices Myths and Hymns virtual event. This one is going to happen on April 14th. And here we have a song. We were talking about Adam Guettel's role models. Here is a kind of Sondheimian inversion, I would say, of perhaps a song from Folly sung by Annie Golden. Do you have thoughts about this number? It's so wonderful and quirky and charming.
It is. It stands out in this piece as being on the simpler side. And I think Adam sometimes wonders what it's doing here, but I think it's a key part of this show. And Annie did such a great job in the original production, and we're blessed to have Dove Cameron sing it in our new one.
Wow.
And if you listen carefully on this, you'll hear me playing the violin.
Oh, very good. Well, I'm glad you inserted it because it certainly makes me smile. And this is Annie Golden singing How Can I Lose You?
How can I lose you? You're all that I know. What will I do now? Where will I go? We were together, now we are through. Why am I losing you? How I see pictures of you leaving me. No one should always lose. Can't I find some kind of peace? Nobody owns the blues, but I have a long-term lease. I never know why, I never know when I'm going along, it happens again. I have a blind spot 40 miles wide. I have a terrible weakness inside. That's how I lose you. That's how I lose you. I was another girl, joyous and happy and free. She was a perfect pearl. When did she turn into me? How can I lose you? You're all that I had. What did I say now? How was I bad? Who can I turn to? Where will I go? How can I live now, missing you so? How can you leave me? You're all that I know. That's how I lost you. That's how I always lost you. That's how I'll always lose you.
Annie Golden. Well, we are looking at these 4 parts of Adam Guettel's Myths and Hymns, which the amazingly invaluable organization MasterVoices is doing virtually over 4 concerts this spring. And we are coming elatedly to the last one, Chapter 4, which is Faith. And I'm here with Ted Sperling, the artistic director, who's the mastermind behind this extraordinarily ambitious project. And maybe you want to set up Chapter 4 for us, because we have a couple of special guests in that chapter too, don't we?
We do, although I'm still casting Chapter 4. This is definitely a rolling production. We are lucky to have 3 top opera stars joining us in this project, and their contributions are actually sprinkled throughout chapters 2 and 4. They are countertenor Anthony Roth Costanzo, whom your audiences might know is playing the lead in Akhenaten at the Met.
Wow.
And he's also a very big part of all these new pop-up events that are happening around the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beautiful soprano Eileen Perez, also a Metropolitan Opera star, and tenor Nicholas Pan from San Francisco, who's performed with MasterVoices before. So they sing at the Sounding, which we opened our program with today in our new production. And then they're also going to introduce Chapter 4 with a wordless piece called The Great Highway, which synthesizes several songs from earlier in the song cycle. This is followed by several songs that explore the idea of heaven. And I think we're going to hear one of them called There's a Land.
Mm. And this is from the Nunsuch recording, which is Adam doing the main vocals, right?
He's doing the main male vocals. It's Annie Golden and Terry McCarthy doing the female ones. And actually, every member of the original cast has a moment somewhere in here.
All right, let us go to Chapter 4, Faith.
There's a land of pure delight where saints and mortal reign.
blink beyond our worldly care. On joyful wing I'll travel there. But a little divide, but a narrow sea, there is a land waiting me. But a blink beyond our worldly care. On joyful wing I'll travel there. Woo!
There's a land in the delight, a land where the saints are in charge.
There's a land of God, it's quite a garden. It's
Turn all day, mighty land, and play all the time.
I'm telling you,
There's a land
like a garden.
where everlasting spring abides and ever withering flowers. Dead like a narrow sea divides this heavenly land from ours. From ours. There's a land, there's a land that we there's a land, there's a land.
But a little divide, but a narrow sea. There is a land awaiting me. But a blink beyond our worldly care. On joyful wing I'll travel there. But a little divide, but a narrow sea. There is a land awaiting me. But a blink beyond our worldly care. On joyful wing I'll travel there.
There's a land of delight, a land where the saints are in charge. There is a land of good delight, all day, merry land. It's very nice all the time. Everybody likes everybody. There's a land where everybody likes each other. They can play, laugh and play. It's a merry dance and sing. It's very nice. There's a land.
Shining in the eyes of every child, and in the flame of dawn reflecting on the open sea. In every fury and every love, you are awaiting me. What about the child who cannot breathe? Or the gentle sage who won't see the age of 32? Then what is raining from above? I am awaiting, I am awaiting you. Light it all and burn it to the ground. Go ahead and let your thunder sound. Let me watch my love and my
And that was Billy Porter from Adam Guettel's Myths and Hymns, Awaiting You, I guess before he was in Big Bright Lights, Billy Porter, right?
Yes, I've known Billy since he was in college, actually. He was an understudy in a production I did at the Public Theater called Romance in Hard Times while he was still in college. I think during his Christmas break,
Wow.
He joined our cast. So he's been a big part of this piece from the beginning, and his performance of Awaiting You is peerless.
Great. Well, I'm here with Ted Sperling, the artistic director of MasterVoices. And if you want to continue this journey, which goes on through the spring, through May 26th, go to MasterVoices, one word, .org, and you'll find out everything you need to know about this extraordinarily visionary project, which I hope will live on. It's already been enthusiastically viewed like a kabillion times on YouTube, Chapter 1. Ted, you've done something extraordinary. You're letting people enjoy this in what way?
For free. It was important to us that anybody who wanted to see this be able to, and we know so many artists and other people around the world have been hard hit economically by the pandemic. So we didn't want there to be any barriers to being able to enjoy this piece. Of course, we appreciate any donation people are moved to make, and it's very easy to do so by making just a little clicking motion on a link right below the video when you watch it.
Well, MasterVoices, MasterVoices, which I've had the pleasure of working at Carnegie Hall, is an extremely worthy organization and worth your time and your money. So I said earlier, and maybe it's in the cyclical nature of Saturn Returns, Ted, obviously you would not have necessarily had this visionary idea without the circumstances we're in. But do you think that the virtual way of putting all these miraculous people together is something you might want to continue with in some way when we get back to live entertainment?
We're very much talking about that. We just had a meeting about it, in fact, earlier today. It's a good question. I think part of what draws us to being part of a choral institution or, performing arts group is the interaction with the audience, which we're missing very much right now. So we're all, of course, very, very hungry to get back into a live situation. But we love that we can collaborate across continents. We have some new members singing with us in the chorus from far-flung places around the world. So we are thinking hard about how we might be able to have some hybrid future.
Great. Well, in the meantime, thank you for joining us, Ted, and we will return to Adam Guettel with the reprise of Saturn Returns as a way of playing out. Thanks for joining us, Ted.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Tasted something sweet. It's an echo, it's a memory in retreat. Like a feeling of fullness, like the knowing of quiet fortitude of ancient heroes. It was something I trusted somehow, and now, I am the rise of Icarus, I am the fall from Pegasus, I am the lost Leander in the tide. I am cold, alone, and set apart, and I am warm as hero's heart. I am a circle, I am Saturn purified. Once around the sun, and now at last I see it. This is what I am. Long ago I left myself, and now I try to return as a stranger to a strange land and to the burn. But the hollow inside me might be there to guide me home again, back to something sweet and opening a passageway to guide me
Well, where is the time all gone to? This is Larry Maslon here at Broadway to Main Street. Let's catch up next Sunday at 3.
There's so much more embracing still to be done, but time is racing. Oh, well, we'll catch up some other time.